Good afternoon, Austin. How are you, son?
Good, Dad. How are you?
I'm doing good. Today we got one of my former players we're going to talk to, but let me give him a little bit of an intro because he's got an interesting intro. Today, our journey, Austin, takes us from Dollarway, Arkansas, south to Decatur, Mississippi, west to Boulder, Colorado, north to Green Bay, Wisconsin, in the hallowed Lambeau Field. Then, even further north, we're going to go up to Montreal, Canada, home of the Alouettes. But this is a story of a young man's perseverance, flexibility, belief, and faith as one of my former players reaches for his dream. My name is Ken Karcher, and alongside me today is my son Austin as our host, and would like to welcome Kabion Ento as our guest to Awaken Kingdom Culture, where hearts and minds come alive, one story at a time. Welcome, KB.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank y'all for having me. And Coach, I'm from Pine Bluff, but I went to school at Dollarway.
I know. Well, that's good. Thanks for clarifying that for everybody. But that's we're excited to have you and have you share your story. And what I'd like to do, KB, is take you back to when you were just growing up as a little guy, and I guess Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Tell us about the Ento home, family, parents, siblings, and just how you grew up.
Well, luckily, even though my community, Pine Bluff, we're a small city. I don't like to say town. About 45,000, and I didn't necessarily grow up. It's a little impoverished. At a point in time when I was younger, it was kind of high crime. Still kind of is, but I didn't necessarily live that lifestyle. Thankfully, sports guided me away from that, and just in the household. First of all, I always have to say I have a twin.
Okay.
And if you seen him, Coach Carter, now, you definitely would have recruited him over me because he's bigger than taller than me now. But I have two sisters, three brothers, which one passed, so now I have two brothers. I only grew up with one of my sisters. I grew up, of course, with my twin and one of my other brothers. So it's kind of a mixed household, between my mom and dad's kids. But I grew up with my mom. I knew my dad. The relationship wasn't always as present, but I love my dad and I understand everything he did. He passed when I was also in high school as well. So that relationship didn't take off as much as I wanted to. But I love my mom. My mom is a great woman. And just growing up, I had siblings. And as you know, you have kids. It's a lot of arguing around the house, running around playing. And luckily me, I got a twin, so I always had somebody most of the time to play with, to run around, to go outside with. And I used to go outside, just play basketball, play football. I used to try to drag him along. Sometimes he didn't want to go, but I used to drag him along. And I had an older brother who used to make sure that we all played outside, and cousins. And I'm from a small city, so my whole family was from here. So I'd had nothing but cousins and aunties and uncles around. I used to always go to my grandmother's house, and we used to always gang up over there and play football, basketball. That was before I actually got on the football team. And my life was just about being a young, typical boy, just wanting to be outside, wanting to play with my siblings, wanting to play with my cousins, and run around in dirt.
KB, tell us, since none of us, Austin or I, are twins, tell us what are some of the advantages of being a twin, and what are some of the disadvantages in your mind?
The advantages of having a twin is that like I said, you usually always have somebody there. Hopefully, every twin is close. Me and my twin, we don't need to necessarily speak and talk every day. As long as we know that we're each other is okay, that's all that matters to us. But just having somebody there that you can always, same age, you mess around with, and when you at school, usually nobody picks on the twins, especially when he got bigger. So nobody was picking on the twins. The disadvantages is when you're fraternal twins, you don't look alike, so we can't, switch each other classes. we can't be mistaken for each other and everything like that. But also we had to wear the same outfits for a long time, and a lot of times if he did want something, I wanted it too, and so we had to learn how to share. And just having a twin, for some reason, people still mistake us. We look nothing alike. So if you tell him he looks like me, I look like him, we'll probably get mad at whoever said that. Disadvantages is usually you have to share everything. So Christmas, where you might get all the Christmas presents. Now you have to do it in half with your twin. But I love my twin, of course, and I mean I'm blessed to be able to have one. I know many people don't have one, and I'm thankful for mine.
Where does he live now?
Oh, he currently stays in Pine Bluff. We kind of
Okay.
live together because I'm here for 6 months, gone for 6 months, so he kind of holds down, make sure the house is good and everything. But he's currently driving trucks. To be honest, if he really wanted to, I honestly think if he wasn't, he'll say, "Hey, I was a little lazy." But if he would have took football as serious as I did, I think you'll be talking to a whole nother twin right now, honestly.
So Kabion, tell us a little bit about your relationship with your mom and maybe a memorable conversation you had with her.
My mom is like the rock of my family. Like honestly, my life. She's a great woman. She's like Superwoman to me, and now she's like Super Grammy. They call her Grammy, Super Grammy to my kids, my brother's kids, and just the grandkids. A woman full of love. Like I don't know how she does it, but she has love for everybody. She has room for everybody. She makes everybody feel special. But my mom, she just always kind of made sure that she always asked me, "Hey, what is something I always done wrong?" Or she just always made me look in the mirror to myself and say, "KB, what are you doing good? What are you doing bad?"
Mm.
And that was kind of one of the biggest things. But she's always supported me. I know a lot of kids don't necessarily get support from parents, especially in today's age. But she was always there. She used to work in Little Rock, was like 45 minutes away, and we might have a away basketball game. And now she has to leave work. As soon as she leaves work, she has to come to the basketball game. So she's always supported me. She has not ever tried to overstep the boundary of helping me make. Well, she has not overstepped the boundaries of making a decision for me, but
Mm.
she has always let me make my own decisions and supported me in whatever decision I made. So when I signed my D2 scholarship first, she was right there behind me. And then when I told her I wanted to go to junior college and we got to go to Decatur, Mississippi to do a tryout, we hopped in the truck right away
Mm.
and we drove down to Decatur and did that. And then also when I went to college, I asked her, I really wanted her opinion. I said, "Hey, after I left junior college, should I go to Toledo? Should I go to Colorado? Like, I really would want to go wherever you want me to go." She told me, "Kabion, this isn't my decision. It's your life." And she said, "No matter where you go, I will be there. And it doesn't matter, like you said, whether I'm in Mississippi, Colorado, Green Bay, or Montreal, Canada." She has been to all those places.
Wow.
And I'm very thankful for her.
Wow, that's a beautiful picture of our Father. Just obviously we all have choice and we all have our decisions, but the willingness to walk wherever we go and
Yeah.
be with us. I think that's a beautiful picture of that. Kavion, tell us about how you got into sports and all the sports you played. Obviously, you mentioned you played basketball, football. Anything else?
I played, I ran track when I was in high school. I played baseball for like 1 year when I was little. The sport was, at that point in time for me, it was too slow. I didn't know what was going on. I wanted to run around. It wasn't even that I wanted to hit the ball every time. It's just that I wanted to move, and I didn't like sitting on the bench, just sitting there watching everybody else play. But I played mainly football, basketball. I ran track. I tried to play in high school. This was the one time that my mother did step in, and she was like, "Kabion, you're doing a lot." Track and track and baseball season is usually the same in high school, like around the same time. She was like, you're not going to be able to do both. You already are doing a lot, and so you're going to really have to choose one." And like I said, I didn't like playing baseball as much, so I I just ran track.
Um, so what were some of your early influences that inspired your athletic career, and then what were your dreams, and then maybe heroes growing up?
Well, when I was younger, to be honest, like I would say I didn't know, as I knew what the NFL was, I knew what college football was, but honestly, I was like a diehard fan of my high school growing up.
Okay.
I was a diehard Dollarway Cardinal, born and raised. My whole family had went there, And like the cousins who I used to play, well, my older cousin who I used to play in the yard with, he used to make sure that we were all outside, running around playing, because he was the older one, and he had younger cousins, and we were all boys, and we all had to find something to do. So he'd just take us outside. So before I even got on the team, like I would be playing in the yard as a kid with all of them. But I wanted to be a Dollar Way Cardinal. Like that's what I knew, and it was so many people who were good athletes, great athletes, around our city from that school. And before I wanted to be, when I was younger, before I went to Colorado, but I wanted to be an Oregon Duck when I was younger. And then I wanted to play for the Atlanta Falcons and all of that. But before any of that, I wanted to be a Dollar Way Cardinal, and I wanted to just be able to play in front of play in front of my family. And my uncle, I think they won like 3 state championships or something when he was in high school. So I wanted to bring a state championship. A lot of culture around my high school when I was growing up, and I've seen great players who not necessarily even made it to the league, but I've seen great players who were great for our community. And I wanted to be just like them. That was it. I just wanted to be just like them. And to be honest, to wear my high school jersey and to be able to accomplish some of the things that I have been able to accomplish in my high school career, even though I didn't win a state championship in football or like basketball, where we won one in track. But that meant a lot to me. Like I wore that jersey with pride, and that's like one of the most memorable like jerseys that I will ever wear. Is my high school jerseys.
Awesome.
KB, before we move to high school, one last thing about the home. What role did faith play in your upbringing as a kid?
I'm very, very thankful for my family. Very thankful for my mother. We are all raised in church, honestly. My daughter, I still go to the same church that I've gone to since I was little. Basically, since I was born, my whole family goes to a church called St. Mark Baptist Church. It's right outside Pine Bluff, Highway 31, Sherrill, Arkansas. But but I was born and raised in church, and that was the foundation. When you're little and you used to go to church, you just go to church with your parents. They make you sit down, they make you be quiet, and you try to understand what's going on. And at that point in time, I probably didn't understand what's going on, but I know who God was, and I knew that He loved me, and I knew, at that point in time when you're little, He died for your sins, and so I had a great foundation. And at a point in time, Mom used to drag us to church, and at a point in time, she was like, "I'm not waking y'all up in the morning to go to church." And I think for 2 Sundays, like, we didn't want to wake up because we're just young. We want to stay up all night on the weekend. So it's like we didn't want to go up and go to church. And I think she realized, like, no, if I allow them to do this, then they might not go to church. So she's like, y'all not doing that no more. Everybody got to get up and go to church. But when I was younger in church, like I said, I don't like sitting down. So I used to see people walk around church, and I used to be like, who is these people walking around church? Like, I want to walk around church while he talking. Like, I got to sit down here, and it just happened to be the ushers. And so eventually, when I was younger, I became an usher. I'm still an usher now. Whenever I come back to my church, I'm still an usher now. And so I had a great foundation. And now as I've gotten older, especially within the past like 3-4 years, I've continued to grow my faith for myself. I understand what it means now to grow my faith for myself. But I'm thankful that my mom and my family dragged us all to church. We always didn't have to go to the evening services, but I'm so thankful that they have taught me what Christ is and who God is, and now I have it for my own. And I have a daughter, and to be honest, if you've seen her, I know you ain't probably seen her since she was like real small, but she's a prayer warrior. Like, she's a prayer warrior. She prays better than me now, and she can do it in front of church. She can do it in front of everybody, and she don't even want to go to sleepovers anymore because she don't want to miss church on Sunday. So one time when I'm getting dragged there, she don't want to miss church.
Wow, that's
we're gonna come. We'll come back to her in a little bit, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Austin, go ahead.
So, Kabion, you mentioned you played 3 sports. Tell us about how playing 3 sports has helped you as a player moving forward.
To be honest, as you all would know, playing any amount of sports is like really big, because I mean, to be honest, it teaches you different movements.
Yeah.
And what you don't do in football, you might do in basketball. And I mean, we all know track helps you just with technique and running faster. And I mean, you running side by side, running with kids and racers. So it just teaches so many different movements. And to be honest, it allowed me to gain confidence in myself and some of the abilities that I didn't even know I had. Like, I knew I could jump, but I didn't know how high I could jump until I started playing basketball.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I started understanding, like, oh, everybody doesn't have this. One day I was chasing like one of my best friends when I was in middle school. This is what I found out. Like, everybody was built different, and I guess we just playing tag or something. But he did something, and I started chasing him, and he shot out. And at that point in time, I'm thinking I'm the fastest kid in the world. And come to find out, he was already running track when he was younger. And
Yeah.
so playing like any sport you can as a child, I would advise anybody to put their kids in multiple sports to not only to help their movements, but to see what are they good at.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could swim. I can't swim. But if I was younger and I think I was able to swim now, you never know. Your kid I might be able to go to the Olympics. But it's tremendous, and it also has allowed me to meet so many people. So many people. I didn't only play basketball for my high school. I played AAU basketball. I never really had I'm not saying I didn't have an off season, but in the spring when kids who not playing track and baseball and basketball, like they only get to kind of be around their high school. I was playing basketball, so I was going to other places. People were seeing me, and it gives your coaches a chance to come see you if they can't see you while you're playing football. That's very
Yeah.
important. They would love, like, I don't think any coaches came to see me, but just to hear, oh, he runs track, he plays basketball, and he's pretty good at it. Other than football, it's just a big deal. And so, I mean, playing three sports for me, it kept me occupied. It gave me something to do. And when kids have nothing to do, they sometimes make bad decisions. And three sports for me kept me occupied with enough to make me tired when I went home. I just want to.
Hey, KB, when did you realize, or what was the moment that you recognized that you could jump? And tell us about your high jumping career. People want to hear that. But when did you say, man, I got some leaps?
To be honest, it was probably like my eighth grade, ninth grade year. Like I said, I've always played basketball with my cousins and everything, but I'm just running around and we all just playing basketball. And I don't think nothing of it. They're my cousins. Some of them have the same genes that I have. But my eighth and ninth grade year, when I finally found playing on the 10-foot rim. And I mean, I watched NBA a little bit. I see these guys dunking, and I'm like, I want to get up there. I want to dunk. And the same best friend who I was chasing, he is a great athlete as well. But I just wanted to dunk, and I didn't know at that point in time, which kids are younger now. They dunking at like 11 years old, which is crazy to me. But when I was in the eighth and ninth grade, like I just really wanted to dunk, and I did. Well, eventually I dunked in ninth grade officially in the game, but also like one of my best friends did. But I saw that a lot of other people weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
And then coaches be like, oh yeah, like the boy can jump. Like if he can't do nothing else, the boy can jump. And I like blocking shots. Like if the ball was in the air, I wanted to go get it. And I mean, I blocked some shots as a ninth grader. There probably a lot of people in today's time probably couldn't go up and get a ball. So I slowly started learning it, and I thought jumping high had a lot to do with running hurdles in track. I found that out very fast that it wasn't. I was in junior high, and I was like just started running track officially, and I took off. Everybody side by side. I jumped over that first hurdle. I jumped over that first hurdle so high, thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna win this race. And people slowly got in front of me. I jumped over the second hurdle as high as I could, and people like started going. And by the time I jumped over the third hurdle, everybody else was done.
What all events did you do in track? Was it high jump, or did you stick with the hurdles?
In high school, I did some of everything but the speed relays. I ran the 400, the 4x4, 4x8, the 800, open 800, long jump, triple jump, high jump. And I mean, we had speed. Coach Carter knows that He knows that we had speed. He recruited my cousin as well. And I mean, when you have about 6, 7, 8 guys, especially in the state of Arkansas, who can all run 100 and 200, you don't need to put me out there to run. I was never part of the 4x1, the 4x2. I never ran the 200, so I can't sit here and say that I was a speedster. But I mean, I was fast enough. I can tell you that.
So tell Austin and our listeners, because I think I remember, but just tell us best high jump, best long jump, best triple jump.
To be honest, best long jump and triple jump, because it might be a little disappointing because I used to scratch on my longest ones. As to be honest, we won state in high school and we didn't have a track at all. We used to kind of run around the street, and I'm so serious. Like after school, we used to be behind the school, and it was just a big block. It was a big block, and if you timed us, it probably was the size of an 800. So one lap, you automatically running probably 800 meters. But in long jump, I probably just jumped like a 21, 22 with no technique, jumping anywhere, probably not even hitting the board. And triple jump, I don't know. It's definitely just a 40 something, probably like a 44, 43, I think. But as far as long jump, which I can jump high. I was able to jump 6'8", 6'9", and
Wow.
and I like to throw this in. That's with zero training. That's with
I mean, you didn't have a track.
We didn't have a track. We didn't have a high jump pit. Like we didn't go in the basketball gym. We didn't have the equipment for that. We didn't go in the basketball gym, and I didn't jump over anything. It just when I got to the track meet, I saw what the other kids was doing.
Jumped higher or further.
I saw where they were running from, and I said, well, let me start from here. And eventually my senior year, it progressed. My sophomore year in high school, I jumped like 6'1", but I didn't know what I was doing. And then that next year, I jumped like 6'4". And so now you can tell that, okay, he's starting to figure it out. And then my senior year, I didn't even expect to get to the height that I was getting, especially with no training. My first track meet, I jumped over a bar, especially,
how do you look at a bar and you see it taller than you and say, I'm going to get over that? I don't understand that.
To be honest, sometimes I don't know either, but it's just I honestly tell myself, like, I can get over that. Like, I feel like I can get over that. And then but I see other people doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they can do it. I know I can do it. And so I say, I know I can get that, and it's just something, I don't know, in the legs and the feet. They just say I got the power to do this. But like when I was my senior year, first track meet, I'll never forget. It was the first track meet, and you get to skip levels. Skip levels, but if you skip a level, you don't go back down. And
right.
I knew I could jump 6'1". You needed to clear 6'1" to qualify for a state track meet in high school. So the girl, she was working and she was calling out names, and they started at like 5'8". I skipped 5'8", I skipped 5'10", I skipped 6 feet and went to 6'1". She was like, she called my name when she was at 5'10", because I guess my coach put 5'10". He knew I could jump higher than that a little bit, but he just put it down just to put something down.
Yeah.
When she went 5'10", she was like, Are you sure that you wanna
start here?
This is what it say your max is. And we got to 6'1", and I cleared 6'1" probably by like 6 inches. And everybody was like, ooh. And that day, it made me feel good. I was one of those kids where the announcer was low key, was like, and now we're at 6'8". These two kids are at 6'8", 6'9". And I mean, obviously I qualified for state that day, but but that was like one of the best times. And I'm happy that I'm happy that the Lord blessed me with the ability to jump.
Awesome.
KB, let's go from high school and let's take us now to college. You mentioned a little while ago that you had a Division II offer that you were getting ready to take.
Mm-hmm.
And then
signed.
Yeah, you did sign. Then there's this school in Decatur, Mississippi, Juco, East Central. Tell us about your recruiting decision, and then how would you describe your time at EC?
To be honest, I was actually really, really satisfied with my Division II scholarship. I'm not going to say I was satisfied because I did want to go D1, but honestly, I didn't have the grades at that time. I wasn't doing my work, and my best friend Joshua Liddell, graduated with him. He did his work. I mean, he did his work. He did what he was supposed to do, and he ended up getting not only an Arkansas State offer, but an Arkansas offer, and he committed to Arkansas. And at that time, Brett Bielema was the head coach, and they came into the office and basically said, "Hey, we can't necessarily give you a scholarship because of your grades, but we would love to offer you a preferred walk-on." And first thing I said to myself was, "I can't believe that I can't get a D1 scholarship." And secondly, I was like, "Well, my mom doesn't have the money to necessarily pay for books in school. Like, I know school is expensive, so I need to go on a full ride." And Arkansas State was basically offering that, and they were going to allow me to play both sides of the football in high school. They were going to allow me to have a chance to at least give me the opportunity to see if I wanted to play both sides or not. And but then shortly, probably honestly, like basketball season my senior year, I found out that I was having a child, and and that decision right there, because it was shortly out, I guess, after I signed my high school, after I signed my scholarship, toward the end of the school year, right, like after I graduated, I was that decision of having a child coming into the world. I said, well, it's honestly go big or go home now. So, a coach from Arkansas State, he told me he was going to be in Mississippi. He was recruiting the next class, but he came to our school and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Mississippi. You say you want to go Juco? I'll try to tell coaches about you." And I was like, "Okay." I had already signed my scholarship, and out of nowhere, I think like a week or two later, I get a call. "Hello, it's Ken Carter from East Central." and and I was like, "Mom, the coach from East Central called me, and he said he wanted me to come do a workout. We got to drive 4 hours." And she was like, "This something you want to do?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I went down there and worked out. He plays this nice psychological game. But he worked out. I did DB drills. I did wide receiver drills. I know he loves to be a quarterback. So for him to warm up the arm again, and I didn't know if I did good or bad, but I guess I did good. And I sat in his office. He was like, "We really want to offer you. We really like you." And I'm like, "Coach, I'm ready to sign today. Like, what are we doing?" "No, no, 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 no. We're gonna wait till you go home and let you decide." Which I'm blessed that he gave me the opportunity to kind of drive home and think about it and everything. But he don't even know that. He knows. But when I left, I was already signed. Like, in my mind, I had already knew what I wanted, and that's kind of how it went. And I'm thankful that they called East Central, that I got the opportunity to uh, work out and come play for you, Coach. Honestly. But it was all, to be honest, based on me finding out I was having a child.
KB, how did East Central help prepare you as a man and as a player? And then what was your favorite EC memory?
EC prepared me to be a man. This is one of the hard truths that I still have to deal with today. I remember when my child was born. My child was born in August, and if anybody knows, because I play in Canada now, but if anybody knows in the States that August is usually count time. It's usually that's when you gotta be there. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. And you would actually have allowed me to go see my daughter be born. I remember that. I do remember that. But I remember that next year, I wanted to go to her birthday. And just think, I'm 19 years old. Even though we in camp, I asked Coach, I'm like, "Coach, like, can I go to my daughter's birthday?" Like, you like, "Huh?" I'm like, "My daughter's birthday is August 11th. Can I go?" And you actually sat me down and you were like, "You can't go." Because one reason, because if I let you go, then I have to let other guys go who has kids as well. And most importantly, if this is the lifestyle you're going to live, this is the time it's just unfortunate that her birthday isn't count. If this is the time where you're going to probably miss the most. And I realized that I had camp in college, I had camp in the pros, and it's usually in August. So I missed so many birthdays. But with Coach telling me that, and me experiencing it a couple of years after and like steadily experiencing it did wake me up to be like, well, this is just happened to be the unfortunate part of her life. But I mean, I get to play football. She gets good birthday gifts, but also EC helped me because when I first got there, I'm one and done. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do my 1 year. I'm gonna ball out, and I'm gonna leave. And at that point in time, I didn't know concepts. Coach was throwing concepts on me. I was doing my best to learn the plays, and I didn't know concepts. I thought, as a young man coming going to college, you think you know everything, and I didn't. I was a yes sir, no sir. I worked hard. Like you weren't gonna have an attitude problem out of me, but I knew I was just gonna be one and done. I knew I was just gonna ball, and that's how it wasn't like that. I had probably like 25 catches for like 300 yards my first year and like 2 touchdowns. But toward the end of the year is where the growth showed, and then I told myself I gotta work. My grades were messed up when I left high school, so my habits changed. I worked harder. I focused on when I got there. After that first year, I actually got on the field more and worked and worked and worked and worked. And that second year, it paid off, and I understood that I might have a setback, but I can still get to where I want to. I want to be a Division I football player, and I think being at EC truly helped me become just a hard worker. I've always been competitive, but a hard worker. It helped me like set my goal, like align myself with where I want to be.
Hmm.
And I mean, I played with players who unfortunately they either got hurt, got cut from the team, and I knew I didn't want that to be me. So it helped me realize, like it helped me. It was a reality check. And coach, you like I said, when you told me about I can't go to her birthday, it hurt, but I understand now that this is life. This is the profession that I chose, and that's how it's gonna be.
So tell us about how Colorado came about, and why did you choose Colorado?
Colorado came about by I think I'm pretty sure it's because of coach, but my second year, I remember my first offer. It was Jacksonville State, a really good D1 AA school at that time, and like my next offer was Toledo.
Yeah.
Toledo had like recruited me all year, and to be honest, at a point in time, after I got Toledo off, I'm like, I know the office gonna start rolling in now, but they didn't. And I had a really good year my sophomore year, but all of a sudden, I go into my last game, the bowl game,
Yep.
and Colorado shows up. I didn't know this till after the game, but I scored a touchdown in the game. Coach threw me up a play. Appreciate it. And I scored a touchdown, and after the game, Colorado coach was there. I shook his hand. He was probably watching some other kids too, but he was like, "Hey, we really enjoyed you. I had to go back to school, but he made a home visit, but he let me know that they really enjoyed me, and eventually that they wanted to offer me, and so basically it was either Colorado or Toledo, and that's where another piece of reality hit. Like I just left 4 hours from home, from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and my mom is driving to these games. My daughter's coming, and so I'm thinking, I'm gonna get a school or not too far away, and I look up how far Toledo is, and I look up how far Colorado is, and they were both 12 hours away.
Oh my goodness.
And so proximity to home was a small thing, but when I was young, I did tell my mom, "Hey, mom, as soon as I get the chance, I'm gone." But I did want to play football at the highest level. Not saying Toledo's not, especially around that time. They were going to bowl game after bowl game, winning season after winning season. But I wanted to play Power 5 football. My best friend's playing Power 5 football. I know people who's playing Power 5 football. Why can't I? And I went on a visit. Coach Mack, great coach. I'm very appreciative of Coach Mack as well. But also when I went there, the guys, they treated me well. They brought me in. They treated me as one. And I picked Colorado. And and my mom, like I said, I asked, I said, "Where you want me to go?" I don't care where you go. Wherever you go, I'll be there. And hearing that, I said, "Well, I think I want to. I think I want to go to Colorado," and I signed that scholarship. So that's kind of how it was when they were recruiting me and everything. And it was kind of crazy. My last junior college game for them to be there, and like honestly, I had like what, a week and a half, 2 weeks to make a decision. I had
Yes.
like 2 weeks to make a decision. I went on visits to both, and I really enjoyed my Colorado visit. It was somewhere I had never seen, somewhere I had never been, and I still love Colorado to this day.
KB, what was your biggest adjustment from EC to Colorado?
My biggest adjustment was probably, luckily, you taught me how to learn concepts, so I was able to understand some things. But it was understanding that the seriousness of, honestly, the athletes that I am going against. I think no matter what building I step in, that I'm a pretty good athlete, but understanding that this is the big lights. This is what you asked for. It's the big lights. You're gonna go against NFL talent every day. That first year we went 11-3, 10-3, and on that defense we had guys who's still in the league right now, like Chidobe Awuzie, Keller Witherspoon, Isaiah Oliver. And so when I first got there, I'm going against them, and I'm still a diamond in the rough. And I still need to. It taught me that I needed way better technique than what I thought I had. I can't just come out here and out athlete. Because when I went out there and they started pressing me and they started putting their hands on me, it became a problem. And it wasn't that they saw that I was an athlete. They saw what I could do, but it's just that I learned that on their level, on the highest levels, it's about technique and it's about consistency. Mm-hmm. It's not about the one-hand catches. It wasn't about all the spectacular plays. It was just about the simple things. Can you catch the ball, whether you're open or not, two hands, secure the catch, and can you do that consistently? And can you come to work every day mastering your craft? And so that was like the biggest thing. And everything was moving fast at first because I went from a pro style to a no huddle. And making sure I'm reading the signals and everything. It was a major adjustment. Also in the classroom, the work was a little, of course, easier in community college. But when you get to college, I didn't have those first 2 years of learning the school, learning the teachers. When I got there, hey, it was time to write essays, 5 pages, 10 pages, and I had to figure it out. So, but I had tutors. They take care of you while you're in college, especially if they're going to invest a scholarship into you. Then they're going to make sure you have everything you need.
Tell us what your greatest attributes as a receiver were.
Well, I came from a high school that ran the ball like 50 times a game. Blocking is definitely one of them. But I think the best ability I have is just to be able to go up and kind of get a ball. And for one, I'm not a receiver who's actually scared to do the dirty work. To be honest, that's a missed part of the game. So you have some receivers who's actually not afraid to get in there and block because now it's a little bit easier for you to drop a little slip out, play action, pass for them. But I think just my ability to jump and to be able to kind of go get a ball, that's really about it. I ran a 4.5 in the 40, so I'm not blazing fast, but the jumping ability is definitely there, and that's really what it is.
KB, did you ever consider running track or high jumping in Colorado, or do they not even have track?
They had track. It wasn't, at that point in time, I don't know if they were giving out full scholarships or not. When I first got there, I was like, should I? But honestly, I was a little bit nervous, so I actually never asked. That's the thing. I never asked, and I never brought it up to anybody that how I did in high school or anything. I just knew that I was just there to play football, and that's kind of all I did. Going back now, as soon as I step on campus, or on my visit, I probably would have asked Coach, "Hey, Coach, can I high jump?
Yeah.
Can I actually get some training in?"
Actually practice it.
6'9" with no high jump hit and getting coached. I guarantee you that it would have been a good number. I would have got 17.
No doubt. What was your favorite Colorado memory?
My favorite Colorado memory. Ooh. Well, one of my favorite Colorado games. Well, actually, my favorite Colorado memory is my first two catches in my Colorado career. My both, like my, to be honest, my only two touchdowns in my career. The first game, well, one of the first games I played in, played like Idaho State, but called like a comeback route,
Yeah.
and I went like I don't know how many yards, probably like 50. But I kind of ran, broke a tackle, and that was my first catch. And then the second one was a busted play. I think we probably even had a lineman downfield or something, but but it was a broken play, and the quarterback saw me. He threw the ball to me, and so my first two catches of my Colorado career were touchdowns. I don't know if anybody can say that their first two.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And my whole first like year, I think like every catch I had at least went for a first down. So,
Yeah.
but my first catch, breaking, running, I probably was moving in slow mo, but I got there. So that, and then it's a big poster in my room right now of me scoring a touchdown from that game. So that was kind of like my most memorable like moment in Colorado history.
You mentioned a little bit earlier Coach McIntyre, and we had Coach and his two boys, Johnston and Jay, which I think you roomed with Jay. Is that right?
Yeah, Jay was my roommate.
Yeah, we had them on the podcast in the spring.
Jay was my roommate. Jay I used to ride with him to practice every morning, and at a point in time, I used to have conversations with Jay. Like I used to be talking with Jay while we driving in the truck, and for the longest, Jay would just be like, "Yeah, cool." And then eventually, years later, he told me, "Man, I really didn't understand a lot of the things that you were saying." Because at a point in time, I'm a kid from the South. I probably did still talk a little country. And just think, I went from Arkansas to Mississippi, and I mean, you're gonna talk the same stuff about there, and I wasn't pronunciating all of my words, especially how I do now. And so I'm thinking I'm having this meaningful conversation with my roommate, and at a point in time, he was like, "At a point, I didn't understand half of the things that you were." And at a point in time, I used to talk, and my voice would kind of get low and lower, and then I talking to my voice like this, and you can't hear. And so for the longest, he wasn't understanding me, and I never knew that or anything. But Jay, that's my guy, and Coach Mack. Shout out to Jay and Coach Mack because they have a big faith as well. And when I got there, I learned about FCA, fellow Christian athletes, and so now I would go to FCA with Jay and learn all the other athletes at FCA and everything. So I was able to continue, like I said, continue that faith, the foundation that I had when I was younger, led to college. When I was at Colorado, I didn't even know they had anything like that when I went to college, really. And to be able to go to FCA, go to the FCA retreat that they let us go to and everything. So Coach Mack definitely has a big faith, and you can see it when he's coaching, and his son has it, and I'm glad to be a part of it. That's like they allow me to eat over their house a couple of times, other than when just the players come over there, because obviously I'm rooming with Jay. So I appreciate them. I appreciate his family for showing me the hospitality that they showed me while I was there.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast today. Austin, I would like to thank each of you for taking time out of your week to listen to our podcast, Awaken Kingdom Culture. This past year has been truly amazing. The conversations that Austin and I have been able to share as a father and son, the new relationships that we have made throughout this past year, and the ability to share other people's stories have been life-changing. Each week, I continue to be reminded of the value and impact one story can have. As a listener-supported podcast, I'm grateful for all of you who have partnered with us this past year. If this podcast has spoken to your heart and you'd like to see it continue to awaken other hearts and minds, then I'd like to invite you to become a teammate. If you'd like to partner with Win Awakening, as well as our podcast, you can give at winawakening.org. And please spread the word about our ministry to all of your friends. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to Awaken Kingdom Culture, Spotify, and YouTube channels to listen to and watch our podcast weekly. every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. If you'd like to follow my socials as well and hear about the upcoming podcast news, watch the latest clips, and get an inside look at my life behind the scenes, then follow Ken Karcher on Facebook and X and KP Karcher on Instagram. I encourage you to subscribe to our mailing list and to partner with us as we continue to awaken hearts and minds one story at a time. Now, let's get back to the podcast. KB, you end up leaving Colorado. You get an opportunity to go to Green Bay. But here's the question I know I've been waiting to ask you. So you play your whole college career at wide receiver. You get a chance in the National Football League, and they put you to DB. What went through your mind when that coach came in and says, we're going to play a defensive back?
Well, after I got done playing at Colorado, my academic coordinator, Miss Katie, people, scouts talk to like some of everybody, and you don't know who they're talking to in the building. But they always came and talked to her, and Coach Mack had let me know that, hey, it's a possibility that some scouts are kind of looking at you to play DB. And when they told me that, I was like, like what? But I'm also saying to myself, I'm like, it don't matter if they want me to be, a long snapper. Like I would do my best to figure it out to be on the field. So, but it came from me playing special teams, something that a lot of people overlook. I was a jammer, a corner on special teams, and I was getting my hands on, and I was, to be honest, the film of that was like amazing. Like for me to not have really much training as a DB and the blocking that I was doing, guys not getting off the line, opening it up for my punt returner. That's where the film came from. And so I do understand what a buzz of he could possibly be a DB. He's, 6'1", 6'2", tall, long, rangy. But when they told me that, I was like, oh, like this is a thing. Like scouts want me to play corner. I haven't played corner since high school. I should have played in college. Coach Carter told me he was gonna let me play corner, and he never did. But I actually was able to receive in college I didn't have big stats as far as receiver. Like I told you, my only 2 touchdowns was like my first 2 catches. I did have some good catches, but I didn't have like those big splash games. I didn't even have a starting job when I was in college. So a lot of my film was on special teams. And I'm grateful for my coach, Daniel DePrado, allowing me to be a part of special teams, because I told him all I want to do is be on the field. And at a point in time, I had to make a decision with myself and ask myself, because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't playing receiver as much. I wasn't rotating in as much. Not saying I wasn't working hard, but that's just the reality. Sometimes if you're not the guy, you're just not the guy. And I asked myself, do I want to be a good receiver, or do I want to be a good football player? Do I want to be a receiver that's on the sideline, sitting down, all spatted up, looking all good, or do I want to be able to actually help my team? And was able to go to Coach DePrado, and he was like, I mean, of course, we always need guys for special teams, and I pride myself in whatever uniform I wear, whatever duty I'm giving on my team, and he allowed me to be a jammer. I didn't play kickoff. I don't know why, but I didn't play kickoff. But I was on kickoff. I was on punt return. I was on punt. I was on kickoff return, and I was never the returner. But like I said, I have a history of playing for a school who ran the ball 50 times a game. So I'm used to not even getting the ball. I'm used to doing my job without getting the ball. And I took pride in that, and that film carried over, I guess, to the scouts. And and I went and played in the Gridiron Showcase in Texas. I got invited to that, luckily. And actually there I played receiver. First day didn't have like any scouts talking to me really. And then we did like 101s, 707s. And actually that next day I wasn't even, I was blessed to not even finish all the interviews. So for the next 2 days, I met with most teams, and definitely the ones who were there. And while I was there sitting at the table, some of the scouts was like, they just asked me the simple question, would you be interested in playing DB? And I'm of course at this point in time, of course, whatever you want me to play, like I'm gonna do. You want me to try to be the quarterback? I can do my best. But another scout, he was like, we really wish you would have played corner um, at the showcase. And in my head, I'm like, no, I haven't took a rep yet. In my head, I'm like, I'm at least smart enough not to just get out there and throw myself out there and be a corner. Which should I probably have done it? Maybe so they could see. But at that point in time, I knew I hadn't taken any reps at corner since I was like in high school,
Yeah.
and 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 that's kind of where I knew that the buzz was real when I go to the Gridiron Showcase and coaches are actually asking me, do I want to be a DB? Like, do I want to play corner? And I went to my pro day. My pro day was actually really good. Of course, I can jump, so a 41 and a half vert is going to get anybody's attention.
Yeah.
I missed the last little tick on the, but 4.5 40. So he's fast enough, he's tall enough, and after the pro day, scouts were. I did wide receiver and DB drills. Like I held up pro day just a little bit because I was tired from it. And I did both drills while I was training for the pro day. I did both drills. So I was training, doing DB drills with the DBs, and I was catching with receivers. So I did both just to prepare myself to what I was actually getting myself into in pro day. And when it was over, some scouts came up to me and was like, hey, we really think you have a chance to be a DB. And some scouts was like, hey, we think you look good at receiver. And when draft day came, and I knew I wasn't going like first, second round, of course. I knew I probably wasn't even going to get drafted. But I told my people, I said, if y'all call me, I said, don't, any of those days, they can randomly just call my name on the first pick, but do not call me none of those days. And the third day came, which is the day that I knew that, I had a chance of getting a call. I definitely told them don't call me that day. And instead of like watching the last rounds, honestly, I just turned the TV off. And your former player as well, Henry Murphy, me and him were actually just playing 2K. Like we were playing a basketball game. We used to play 2K against each other all the time. So the biggest moment of call, I'm waiting on a call in my life. I'm not even with my whole family. It's me and him in my room at my mom's house, and we're playing the game. And as soon as the draft is over with, they start calling everybody, and my phone starts ringing. I think I had a call from the Vikings. They were actually wanting me to play receiver, and so I'm like, okay, the team wants me to play receiver. And then immediately after that, Green Bay called. Green Bay wants me to play DB. While I was training, I think I had already told myself that I wanted to be a DB. I didn't have a problem with not getting the ball, but I didn't want to go and not be, that guy anymore. I'm not saying I love to compete, but I was like, if I have a chance to do something new,
Yeah.
and I felt like you can go find a receiver anywhere. To be honest, to me, you can go find a receiver anywhere before you can go find a DB. It's hard to find a DB, and at that point in time, it's like, hey, a DB his size is even harder to find. So I'm like, why not? Why not be a DB? I don't care about getting the ball anyway. At least when I get the ball now, it's a good thing. I dropped the ball now, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? At least I was there to make a play. And shortly after I talked to my agent, and he let me know, he was like, hey, we don't have as much time as you think. They're calling some of everybody, and we have to make a decision. But after I hung up on Green Bay, like my phone rang a couple more times. So I was getting calls. I didn't answer all of them, but because I signed with Green Bay so fast. But I don't even know what positions other teams wanted me to play to be. So luckily, I was blessed to be able to choose whether I wanted to play receiver or DB, and I chose DB at Green Bay. The transition was real. I went out there, first rookie mini camp. Coach ain't have time to do all the coaching. He said, hey, I want you to take a step, shoot your hand. He was talking about me pressing. I want you to take a step, shoot your hand. Take a step, shoot your hand. And for my whole first year training camp, that's all I was thinking about. Take a step, shoot my hands. Take a step, shoot my hands. And the ball went in the air a couple times, and I made some plays. I almost caught a pick, like a one-handed pick one day, and I jumped really high. I probably should have been beat on the deep ball, but the ability kicked in, and actually, like my like best play in camp, almost gave up a post route, ran it down, jumped up, picked it off, came down, boom, pulled my hamstring.
Oh,
And I couldn't. I played in the first preseason game my rookie year, but I couldn't play in the rest of them because I pulled my hamstring. And definitely after that, I'm thinking they sending me home. But I had done enough to where they seen that we need to keep him around, let him make the transition. So that's really how everything came about. I probably would have been a DB earlier if Coach Culture would have just let me play DB.
Were there? I'm sure there were a lot of similarities between Warrior Field and Lambeau Field, weren't there?
Yeah. Ain't nothing better than that ECC chant. But 60,000, and I don't. Did the EC field have at least? We didn't have 6,000, did we? We had at least 600.
There we go. Kabion, what how did you transition from Green Bay to the CFL?
To be honest, the CFL is surprisingly a different game than people think. Now, if you're a pure football player, I mean, you can run fast, you can jump if you're big. You're gonna be able to play kind of anywhere. But the rules are different. And let me also say this: I did not. The Lord. You want to talk about something about faith? The Lord humbled me, because after I left junior college and I found out I was going to Toledo or Colorado, first thing I'm thinking about is snow. Oh my gosh. And then after I go to leave college, I'm like, there's no way I can go anywhere colder. Like there's no way. Like I'm already like it's so many teams that I already know I'm gonna land in a sunny place.
Welcome to
and, my best friend, he had a tryout in the league, and he got released, and he was like, well, some Canadian teams want to call. They called me, but he didn't want to go play. He was starting his family. And I told myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I could go play in Canada either. It was like I ain't mad at you because you don't want to go play in Canada.
Yeah.
And the Lord humbles you.
Yep.
And I got released from Green Bay, and now I'm waiting on a call. So 2023 season, really, I really set out because I was waiting on a call. But as soon as I got released, like 2 weeks later or a week later, Montreal called. And I didn't know when their season was at that point in time. So that I just had to say that real quick, that the Lord does have a way of humbling you, but I'm actually grateful for where I'm at now. I'm very blessed for where I'm at now. But the transition from the NFL to the CFL, it's weird because when you first get there, your first rep, you're going to have 80 people running at the line of scrimmage. all at once.
Yeah, how do you play DB with that?
And you just like, what's going on? Like who? Like, why are they allowed to do that? At first play, I'm really looking. I'm like, yo, we ain't gonna throw no flag. Like, why are so many people moving? And what they don't know is in the CFL, everybody can motion, including the offensive line. They can move side to side. Only person who can't motion is the center because he's holding the ball. But other than that, everybody can motion. If you're on the line of scrimmage, you can go side to side. You just can't step back.
Wow.
And so I go up to press receivers, and they walking side to side. I'm like, man, this is like sit. And so that's the first thing that you understand is different. But the field is bigger. The hashes are bigger, so you know what I mean, Coach. You know the difference in hashes. Hashes make a difference. But the hashes are bigger. The field is bigger. The end zone is now 20 yards. And so, you on a 10-yard line thinking they don't have much room to throw the ball. You can still throw a fade ball. And it's the rules are different, which makes it a lot different. But you still have those athletes who came from a lot of us played in the NFL or had an NFL tryout. And so you're still playing against those caliber guys. It's just that with different rules. And so I have a whole different appreciation for football now that I'm in Canada, because I played American football, I played Canadian football, and the Canadian game it's just so crazy. It's fun with all the rules. Like, I can get into the rules all day, and I probably still won't even have covered half of them.
So tell us about your family.
Are you saying like
so like obviously your daughter, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, I right now it's just me and my little girl. She's 10 now, coach.
Wow.
She's 10. She is a track star. So
Oh, there we go.
she's ran track for like the past 2 or 3 years. She has been to the Junior Olympics definitely the past 2 years.
Oh, wow.
She just started playing basketball. So for the past 2 weeks, she's played in her first two basketball games. Scored 2 points in her first basketball game. Um, she is a competitor. She hopefully that's something that she got from me. But she's a competitor. She's an athlete. To be honest, she's the sweetest thing ever. And luckily, when she's at school, so I hope that it stays like this. But right now, she's more the teacher's pet than a problem. Um, we never have. I usually have a problem out of her. Tall, real tall, almost my height at 2 years old, and she is just a joy to be around. A ball of energy. She's always been that since she was little. Just a ball of energy. I used to wake up some days, and she won't wake me up. She doesn't wake me up when I'm asleep. She knows not to do that. But she was little. She used to like be looking in my face, and as soon as I open my eyes, she just starts smiling. And
Mm,
I thank God that that has not changed at all.
mm.
That when she wakes up, she's ready to go. She's getting into sports now, so I try not to force it upon her. I try not to be that parent that you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to, because I know how competitive I am. I know that I am a professional athlete, and you want the best. I want to do my best, and you want your child to do their best. You want them to get the best out of you just want to get the best out of them. But I try not to force her. I don't try to overcoach. I don't coach the coaches. I just I just enjoy being a dad
Mm.
and watching her have fun, whether she's running track, whether she's doing something in school, as far as like they have an assembly and she participates in it. So I'm just enjoying my time of being a dad. I only have one child right now, so it's just me and my little, and my
I
nieces and
can't.
nephews. I love my nieces and nephews so much. Usually they're over here running around in my house right now, but I needed it quiet, so so they come over. They can't be over here right now.
I can't believe your daughter's 10. That's amazing. Because I met her when she was just little.
Yeah, you probably met her definitely. You definitely met her before she probably turned one, but I know you seen her
Yep.
walking and she used to come to the games and everything. Now you might want to recruit
Does she go to all your games? Like every stop you've been to?
her. She sadly did not be able to see me play in Green Bay.
Yeah.
She came up there, but she really didn't get to see me play, and I wanted to make sure that she got to Montreal, and she didn't come to Montreal my first year. She didn't have a passport yet either. But
Yeah.
last year she came up. She actually came to see me play twice. She came to Montreal, and then I have family that lives near BC,
Okay.
in Seattle. So she, yeah, that's a chance for my family to go see family in Seattle and drive up to BC to see us play. So she came to the BC game. So she's already been out of the country faster than I have. Um, but she has seen me play everywhere except Green Bay, like actually being there. But I mean, she a road warrior. She been on that road 4 hours, 12 hours to Colorado. Um,
Mm.
she has came up to Green Bay.
Wow.
She has came up to Green Bay, but she seen me play in Montreal, and that was actually her first time seeing me in person play, and like professionally. And so it definitely meant a lot to me just for her
Oh,
to
I
be there.
bet. That's awesome.
Oh, Austin, let's jump to legacy as we wrap up. And why don't you start?
How have the setbacks and failures in your life helped you grow as a player and a man?
Mm. Because I think like I understand. First of all, I think it's just a lot of self reflection. Like I said, my mom made sure that like whenever I did something in high school, like I'm not gonna just say that I was low key a class clown, just a little one. And I've got put out of class, I've got written up, and at a point in time, I told you my grades weren't good, and so team almost got games taken away in high school because of me.
Mm.
I was in the 10th grade. I remember the day, and my mom and like I'm sitting on my mom bed crying, like they gonna get games taken away because of me. This happens often. This doesn't happen often at our school, but it's happened enough where that you don't want to be that person. And she asked me, she was like, "Well, KBN, what do you have to do?" Or whenever I got in trouble, and as soon as you ask a kid, what are you in trouble for? The first thing they say, well, so and so did this. Well, so and so, I didn't do anything. So and so did this, and she'll say, Kabion, what did you do? Why are you in trouble? And I think that was a foundation to help me uh, grow as a young man, as a man, to be able to always look at myself and say, well, what did I do? How am I going to fix this problem? Because when I had to go to junior college, it wasn't anybody else doing my work. It was my grades. You know, it was I had the film in high school. You know, though, and that's what I like. You can watch my highlights. I like my highlights, right? But you know, it was I put more things more on myself, and I think every stop that I've been has taught me a small lesson. Like when I was in junior college, just make sure that I'm always focused on my goal, making sure that I'm living the dream that I want to live. You can want to be anything. I can sit down here right now and say I want to be an astronaut, but if I'm not living that lifestyle, if I'm not putting
Right.
myself in position to be an astronaut, then I'm just gonna be the man sitting on the couch on YouTube looking at the moon, or I'm just gonna be the man going outside looking up at the sky and just looking at the moon.
That's
And
wise.
when I
Yeah.
went to Colorado, I did lose a bit of confidence in my abilities. I wasn't playing as much and things like that, so I wasn't as confident in myself. And I did lose at that point in time a small love for the game until I got on special teams, until I started contributing again. But being at Colorado taught me always be confident in myself, that I have the ability to do these things. So for one, be a good teammate and stay confident in yourself. And being in Green Bay, like I'm making a total transition. And I learned a lot of football, especially now I'm playing defense. But it taught me I learned how to watch a lot of film when I was in Green Bay. And I learned how to, you need to work. You don't only need to work hard. You don't need to go out there and run 5,000 40s, and that's gonna make you better. You need to hone in on your craft. So I had to be very detailed with me being a defensive back. So I learned how to be detailed in my work. And now that I'm in Canada, after saying that I wouldn't be able to go, I'm just very appreciative of where I am. And I think that's something that I lacked in kind of every spot that I was, being appreciative of where I'm at, being appreciative of the ones who's around me, being grateful that I still have the opportunity to play football. I know the CFL game isn't watched as much in the States, but I would advise if anybody had a chance, before I went to the CFL, y'all know who I asked. I asked my mom. Said, should I go to the CFL? And she kill everything quick. She said, KB, do you love football? I said, yes, I do. She said, do you want to get paid for playing football? I said, yes, I do. She said, well, what else are we talking about? And so, being in the CFL, I'm very appreciative now because, Coach, everybody knows football ends one day.
Yep.
That's right.
You want it to end on your say and not anybody else's. And so every step that I've had, every place that I've been, it has taught me small things to kind of get to the man that I am now. And I mean, my mom started it after high school. My daughter helped me realign my thoughts, my goals, and Coach you and Coach Carter, Miss Katie, Coach DePrado. It's so many people who helped me get to where I am now, and I'm so appreciative of everybody. And I mean, to be honest, now I do play for I've learned that I play football for myself. I play because I love the game, and everybody else gets to benefit off of that. My family never thought they'd be in Green Bay going to a Kansas City Chiefs game. They never thought they'd be going to Montreal or Vancouver, going to Mississippi, going to Colorado, and seeing a real Buffalo run on the field. So everybody has benefited off me doing something I love, and I've learned that, and I just want to continue to be able to do that to make you proud, my mom proud, and everybody proud.
Wow.
KB, when you think this journey you just showed us in your career, what though has been the most significant moment of your spiritual journey inside that journey?
Honestly, I'm still on that journey. I'm growing. Like my faith has grown so much with my pastor at my church, Pastor Omar, right now, and FCA in Colorado. We have a Bible study group in Montreal. Uh, I would just say that honestly, that it sounds crazy. It's so simple, but God is real,
Mm.
and and He's actually opening doors that you actually don't know. I mean, but you can't sit up and wait. You can't just sit down and wait because if I just sat down and wanted to go D1, never told, and I would have never told the Arkansas State coach, you never would have called me.
Mm.
I know you and Coach Mack have a good relationship, but if I never would have put in the work and had the attitude that I had, um, I probably never would have got referred to Coach Mack. Colorado probably would have came.
Mm.
If I would have sat down on my luck and just patted my head about not getting the ball, not playing, the doors that God continued to open for me with the ability that He gave me, those doors never would have opened. So I understand that God is opening doors for me that I do not know, whether it's in football or not. Like my daughter might just be a great athlete, not because of not only her athletic ability, but she has seen her dad play professional sports.
Mm.
So that in herself could create, I know I can do this because my dad has. And kids
Mm.
around here, I want them to be able to see that I might be the door to kids around here who want to do things in life. Probably not even play sports, but just for them to see that there is success somewhere. But I do understand that God is real. And like I said, He's opening doors that I can't open for myself. He, I see that it needs a team. It's me and God, number one, me and God.
Mm.
I love my daughter, but you need a team. And the most important person on your team that you need to have is God. And the people I just named, everywhere I have been on that team. And he does things for me that literally I can't do for myself. And that's one of the biggest things. And my faith is, like I said, my faith has grown. As I do more reflecting over the past, I understand what God has done for me. And I understand that He's going to do more. Whether it's what I want, it's not necessarily about what I want. It's about what He wants and where He's going to take me. And my job is to give Him glory and be appreciative and to be a light to others and to just let Him shine through me
Mm.
everywhere I go.
Amen.
Well said.
Kabion, when someone spends time with Kabion Ento, how do you want them to remember you?
To be honest, just as a genuine, loving person, that somebody who, if you want to come over and play the game all day, we can come over and play the game all day. If you want to come over, if we need to talk, we can talk. You want to hit the field, we can hit the field. But somebody who actually just cares, somebody who's genuine, somebody who I don't want anything from anyone.
Hmm.
I mean, unless I work for you, then I want you to pay me. But I just want everybody to know that I'm someone I want to see everybody do good. I want to see the best for everybody, and the benefits I get from that is seeing somebody do what they love. Like I just want to be known and loved as a genuine person, as somebody who has no hidden agendas. I don't like I said, I don't want anything secretly from anybody. I just want to be known as a genuine, loving person who is a child of God. And I mean, to me, if I'm known as that, then I did my job.
Before we do final words, just a quick question, put you on a spot. CFL Grey Cup Championship or the Heart of Texas Hut Bowl trophy? Which one's more? Which one did you like more?
See,
you can be honest.
It's I never thought of it, but I did win the Heart of Texas, the Heart of Texas bowl in front of my family. And I mean, that, to be honest, just think, like I told you how God works. If it wasn't for that game, Colorado probably would have never came. But I did have a great game in my first.
I saw that.
My first CFL championship game. I had a pick. I had a forced fumble.
Awesome.
dogfight the whole game. And to be honest, to be able to do that in my first year and do that, there's nothing like winning championships. Because I guess I won one in what's the name, but ooh,
Well, I'm just teasing you.
You know I can't like upset you, so I gotta say I
Uh,
still that's what I should have won. I should have worn a Heart of Texas Bowl hoodie that I still
that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
right now. That's what I should have worn. But
That's good. I just was teasing you. But so anyway, Kabion, last thing we like to do, we call it final words.
mhm.
If you have something that you'd like to say to our listeners, or maybe something we didn't ask you that you wanted to share, just any final words on your heart, and then Austin will follow, and then I'll close us after he does.
Maybe just one of the biggest things is that I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing now is build your relationship with God for yourself. The closer you get to Him, the more you'll understand who you are, and He'll show others who others are around you. But to be honest, I really like dealing with the youth, but this is for anybody. Well, if I had to share anything, I would say parents, be in your kids' lives. Don't wait till they're good in something to support them. It's very important to, at a point in time, we all just want to love. We used to all go to our parents and be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, look at this. And we used to do something silly. But parents, to be in their kids' lives, make sure that you support them, whether they change their minds in 2 weeks. Help them align themselves with what they want to do and who they want to be, and honestly, who you want it to be. All of us we haven't made the best decisions. Hopefully the Lord blesses me with a son, and I want him to be the man. It sounds crazy, but I would want him to be the man that I wanted to be. And being in the kids' lives, and for you, shoot for the sky. But through it all, make sure you have God. Make sure everything you do, you're holding God's hand. Make sure you stay prayed up and everything like that. And to be honest, that's really it.
Well, Kavion, obviously I heard of you because you played for my dad's team, but I didn't know you personally beforehand. But I'm really thankful for this hour and 15 minutes. It's you got a really good heart, and I can see. God's really doing some really cool things in your life, and just the way you're able to communicate those things, it's really deep. Things that stuck out to me today. I would say maturity is one thing. You have a very mature perspective on all things. I think selflessness was something, just your ability to, wherever you were, to love your high school team like you did, or, go to Colorado and get on special teams, block for people, go change to DB. That's hard to do in a sport that we play that can be very egotistical. And probably the biggest word is what you said, was appreciation. Another word would be gratitude. But
Yeah.
I think when you understand who God is and you understand His presence in your life and how He's showing up in your daughter's life, in your life, and my life, and Dad's life, and all the people who's listened, you learn to, everything starts to, not that things are perfect, but you learn to have appreciation and gratitude for the things that we're walking through. And I think that's when we really start to enjoy the process. And, I think that was a great word to hear. And the last thing I'd say is perseverance. People sometimes get caught up with the big names in a sport, the Patrick Mahomes or the Joe Burrows or whatever. But there's so many players out there who like you, who can sit there and say, I'm a professional. I've gone to the highest level, and I've done it. And we all want to go in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, and still time will tell as far as that. But I'm just saying, there's something to be said about your perseverance and pushing through, and just keep working. And it's evident in your life and in your story.
Thank you. But before, I know you're finna say something, Coach, but I just want to say to you, Coach Crotcher, I appreciate the call. To be honest, without that call, we might not be sitting here today. Uh, without me playing for you, like that's like I said, I understand now everything that has happened in my life and stages and everything. I appreciate you for allowing me to play for you. I remember one day we were all having a meeting. This was my first year, and you actually talking to Jordan. You called him out. You used to love calling out Jordan, but you don't know that you ignited a fire in me when you told Jordan, because it was correct. Jordan was what, 6'6", 260 in junior college, could run, could jump. And you sat there and told him, you said, Jordan, you have the size and you have the ability to go to the NFL. You didn't discredit anybody else in that room, but I mean, you had been in that building. You sat in those seats. You know those people. You know what it took to get there, and he already had the size. He had the ability. But you told him personally. You said, you're going to the league, and it might not even be because you're the biggest, fastest, strong. Like, you have the size. You have what it takes. And when you told that to him, I took it upon myself and said, why he ain't saying that? Why he not saying that to me? And it wasn't that, I know it wasn't that you didn't have faith in me, because when you brought me there, you told me, you said, hey, I didn't bring you here to, I didn't bring you here to sit on the bench. I'm using you. It's an out-of-state scholarship that's being used on you.
Yeah.
If if you ain't gonna get it done, I can go find somebody else. But sometimes it's reality. Sometimes that's how it needs to, that's how it needs to be. But when you definitely said that, like I said, you don't even remember. Like, I remember where I sat in there. I remember where you were standing, and it's things like that that ignited me. And I appreciate literally all you've done. From the simplest, hey, we got to get Kabion the ball in the game, to Kabion, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to make it to all your daughter's birthdays, because it's reality. And you helped me become who I am today. That's what I want you to know. You helped me become who I am today, and that I want you to feel honored and happy. And so you're one of those people who can say, he's where he's at because of me.
Wow.
And I want people to be more happy about that. I played a part in his life, and it was a good part. I can actually say that I made a difference, and you made a difference, Coach. And I really appreciate that, like, so much. You don't even understand.
Wow. Thank you, Kabion. Obviously, that hits my heart. When I hear you talk today, a couple things come to my mind. The first is just your unique ability to recognize opportunity. Not everyone recognizes opportunity, whether it be you on that punt return team and you're jamming the gunner and saying, you know what, I'm going to do my best that I can do right here. Yeah. People talk about it, taking care of where your feet are, but you were able to recognize that, and it ended up paying off for you in another situation. And I heard it over and over from your father, your parenting of your daughter, to playing football, to academics. You were able to recognize opportunity. The other thing was, and Austin mentioned, he said the words selflessness, but your gratitude for the people that you have encountered along the way, the kind words you just said to me, that makes my coaching career worth it. And any other coach that has had a role in your life, but your ability to be grateful for that. And we all have had those type of people in our life, and sometimes we forget that.
Yes.
And what I wanted to say to you, Kabion, is I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the man you are.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the man you're going to continue to become. And when I say man, that encompasses it all. That's a son to your mom. The way you talk about your mother is unbelievable. That means the father you are to your daughter. That means the friend that you are to your friends and relationships you have. And who you're going to become as God's son, Papa's child, because it's going to continue to happen. And what I wanted you to feel, the reason I asked you to be on the podcast, is I wanted you to know that Austin and I recognize that Kabion Ento's life has great value and worth.
Appreciate that, Coach.
not because you play football, but just because you're God's kid, you're Kabion. So thank you for the kind words. Thank you for being a guest. And Austin and I, from the deepest part of our heart, just want to say thank you for sharing your story with our listeners at Awaken Kingdom Culture, where hearts and minds come alive, one story at a time.